Talk. With me, your host, KP. It's Saturday, August 27th. All right. How's everybody doing this morning? Everybody having a good Saturday morning so far? Waking up, you got the kids going, you got breakfast, you got the pets waking you up, licking you on the face. You got, what do you got Saturday mornings? You got soccer, you got baseball, you got Little League football going on, you got high school sports kicking off, you got NFL preseason, we got college football kicking off next week. We're going to have Chris Rupert on from the dirtcannon.com here in a little bit. We're going to do a college football week 1 preview, so that'll be fun. And you know what? Last time I got to talk to you guys last Sunday, because I was unable to do the show on Wednesday. I had some stuff that interfered. But last time I talked to you guys, I ran out of time, and I didn't get to share with you my preseason 2016 picks for the league awards. Remember, we had talked about the article that Adam Shine had run on NFL.com. And he did his sleeper candidates for 2016 for all of his, the MVP, Rookie of the Year, things like that. And what I decided to do, I went ahead, and these are going to be my picks, my preseason picks. I'm going to revisit these picks in the middle of the season. I'm going to revisit these picks after the 16th game in Week 17. And we're going to see how the picks play out. Am I going to hit them all? No, I'm not. That's the fun of this. That's the beauty of seeing how these players play, how the season plays out, how health things play, how the teams go, all the factors that go into it. So my picks, my preseason picks for the league awards for 2016. MVP, this one I'm a split on. I couldn't really nail it down to one guy. Both of my candidates come out of the NFC North, the black and blue division, the division I started my overview and preview predictions with. Today we'll do the AFC North just to get both North divisions out of the way. But for MVP this year, I'm going with either Aaron Rodgers or Adrian Peterson. I think Adrian Peterson in an offense now that's going to have what looks like enough passing options. Teddy Bridgewater inside, so the weather's not going to be a factor. Playing on turf again. With that young defense that's flying around, studs, Adrian Peterson could have a huge year. They're much better on the offensive line this year, bringing in Andre Smith. We talked about that. And Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. He's in the conversation every year no matter what. The NFC North just has to deal with that. The NFL has to deal with it. That's Aaron Rodgers. He's an MVP candidate. Offensive Player of the Year, I'm going to go Tom Brady. I'm saying he comes back from his suspension and he's going to light the league on fire. He's still going to get 4,000 yards passing. I say he gets near 30 touchdown passes. And yeah, that's ridiculous. It's preseason. That's the beauty of it. All we're doing is talking here. We're making predictions. So I'm going Tom Brady. Tom Brady, Offensive Player of the Year. Which, okay, if he's going to come back and light it up like that, why didn't you pick him for MVP, you might say? Well, he's not going to be there for the full 16. Simple as that. MVP goes to somebody who played the full 16. Defensive Player of the Year, I'm going to match Adam Shine on that. I'm going to go Ziggy Ansah from the Detroit Lions. I think Ziggy is going to correct those mistakes that kept him from getting about 5 or 6 more sacks last year. With a couple of more guys that are going to be healthy on the interior that will alleviate some of the pressure he's getting. A little bit better of a defensive line rotation. You know, we don't have a whole bunch of studs on the defensive line in Detroit. Haloti Ngata is at the end of his career. Tywan Walker, he's a rotational guy. Reed's a rotational guy. A'Shawn Robinson, he looks like he's going to be real good against the run. He's doing better with his pass rush. He's getting his hands up. Looking forward to seeing him break into the starting role eventually during the season. I think he does take over that starting job next to Ngata in the middle. And that only helps Ziggy on the outside. So I think Ziggy, you're going to see him around between that 15 to 18 sack mark again this year and possibly the Defensive Player of the Year. Hey, J.J. Watt's out. Unless you got a defensive back who's going to put up 8 picks, or a linebacker who's going to set a tackles record with some picks and some forced fumbles, I mean, just dominate, it's going to be easy for a defensive end to take that award this year. Offensive Rookie of the Year, until the last 2 preseason games, I was just going to have one candidate right here. But now I got 2, and both of them are on the Dallas Cowboys. Because that's really all the Dallas Cowboys have, let's be honest. Their defense is pathetic. It's pitiful. It's got holes all over it. It's not going to be good this year. They'll be a lower-ranked defense for sure. They will not be higher than 17th. But, offensive side of the ball, you got that young, studly offensive line. Going to be around for years, if you can keep them all paid. And now you got some skill players and a quarterback. And I'm talking about Ezekiel Elliott and Dak Prescott. Before the last 2 games, I was going to take Ezekiel Elliott as my Rookie of the Year for the offense side because of Dallas's offensive line, because of his running style. But now with what Dak Prescott's done, I'm thinking, wait a second, maybe I need to back off that a little bit. Tony Romo could very easily be out, and with the way Dak Prescott is performing currently in the preseason, and yes, it's the preseason, there's a lot he's not seeing from NFL defenses yet. But what he is seeing and what he is doing is he goes through his progressions and makes his reads and chooses when to run. It's impressive. I'm kind of drinking the Kool-Aid right now. Things look up for Dallas on the offensive side of the ball, even if Tony Romo again finds himself injured this season. Defensive Rookie of the Year, I'm going to go Carl Joseph in Oakland. I'm going to go the safety out of West Virginia. I think that was a great pick for them. It was a little high in the draft for me. They brought over Reggie Nelson from Cincinnati, a long-term veteran who's going to be able to do nothing but teach him. And that's another young team that's putting together a bunch of pieces. Not so much drinking the Kool-Aid on the Raiders right now, thinking that they're going to be playoff contenders and make a big splash this season. But I do think they're going to, again, take another step forward in their improvement. I think they're missing some pieces. I'm not sold on Latavius Murray at running back. I'm not sold on Michael Rivera at the tight end position. They have a receiving core you can rely on. They've got the quarterback who's getting all the press right now and doing everything right. They've got a GM. They need a head coach. Sorry, Jack Del Rio's a pathetic human being and a bad head coach. But the Raiders are definitely building something there, which only makes them filing for the patent to the Las Vegas Raiders this week even more interesting, and putting out their promotional video of what the stadium would look like and all that stuff. That's the Raiders. You got to have some controversy if you're the Raiders. All right, so Coach of the Year. I'm also going to match. Did I match Adam Shine on Coach of the Year? Let's see. Who did he pick? I got to go back and check. No, he picked Chuck Pagano. I'm not going to go with Chuck Pagano. I'm going with Jim Caldwell of the Detroit Lions. All excuses are gone this season. We don't have Calvin Johnson. We don't have Ndamukong Suh. We now have Matthew Stafford as our leader, and I think he's going to more than rise to the occasion in Jim Bob Cooter's offensive scheme. I really do. I think it's going to be exciting. I think a lot of people are going to have their hands on the ball. There's going to be headaches at times, I'm sure, with the new pieces, with our offensive line being suspect at this point. And basically our running game, really. We had the worst running game in the league last year. That has to be better. But I really think you're going to see Stafford shine and get some appreciation for his skill set this year. Some of the passes he's been making so far have been amazing to me so far in the preseason. He has played on point so far. Very impressed with him, and I think that's going to, in turn, make Jim Caldwell, again, look like a top coach. Because here he is, he's stuck to his guns. He worked with the system with the new GM. He got the players that he needed, and they're going to pull it out this season. I really think they have a chance. Now, I told you I have them going third in my division and possibly in the NFC North and possibly making a wild card spot. with a couple breaks here and there, with the way the NFL goes, that they could win the NFC North and be right there in the mix. That's the best part about the game. It doesn't matter what it looks like on paper. Once you go out there and play, after the clock's done, you see who comes out on top. Sometimes it's the better team on paper, the more talented team, the team that has the more athletic guys. Sometimes it's just the team that's playing better together as the team. And right now in Detroit, what I have to say and am seeing is that they're playing more as a team. It's more of a unit. It's more of a group. Not, okay, I got Calvin, I got Golden, I'm going to hit Theo on the third downs, and everybody else is just kind of moving pieces. This year it seems more like a group, and I like that. I do. Comeback Player of the Year. I had two candidates on this. I had to cross one off after he went down and Cliff Averill bent him in half, Tony Romo. Tony Romo's not going to be the Comeback Player of the Year. He's going to end up getting hurt again. And I'm sorry, I don't care if the Cowboys are saying he's not overweight. He does look overweight. He looks overweight in his legs. He looks overweight in his abdomen. He just looks sluggish. He looks like he just played more golf this offseason or something. As worried as Jerry Jones is about Ezekiel Elliott visiting the pot shop in Washington before the Seattle game, he needs to be worried about what his quarterback's doing to get ready to play football, I think. Because this is a guy who's often injured. So with the money you're paying him, you would expect him to be doing nothing less than coming in the utmost shape, utmost physical condition, taking care of himself in the best way he can. And I don't see that. It looks like he didn't do too much since the last time he got injured. So that could spell problems for Tony Romo. So my Comeback Player of the Year this year, even though he's going to be suspended now for the first 3 games, is going to be Le'Veon Bell. I think he still rushes for around 1,200 yards. I think you're still going to see 300 or 400 yards receiving out of him in that Pittsburgh offense. They have one of the better, and we'll talk about this in a little bit when we preview and do the predictions for the North, AFC North. But they have an amazing backup, too, who can, carry him out until Le'Veon gets back, and then you got a 1-2 punch, plus the receiving core they have. So, Comeback Player of the Year this year, I'm going Le'Veon Bell. Back to Ezekiel Elliott in the Seattle Seahawks game. So, Chancellor got him real good, popped him real good on a run. But what I liked from the rookie is that didn't stop him. The Legion of Boom didn't get in his head. He said, all right, you got me. I'm going to be here all day. And the next time he got a chance, he ran Cam Chancellor over. He laid the boom on Chancellor. If you guys haven't seen it, go watch the rookie. He surprised Chancellor. Chancellor gets up smiling and giggling like, all right, rookie, you got me. Yeah, I didn't see that one coming. I didn't know he was that physical. I like to see that out of the rookie. And you put him behind that offensive line, that's good things. Again, everything is prefaced. I'm just going to say this now and try and not say it all the time on the show. Everything is prefaced with health. You got to stay healthy. So with health behind that offensive line, I see Elliott doing really big things. One guy who's hasn't done big things since he was at LSU, Barkevious Mingo, linebacker for, former outside linebacker for Cleveland. The Patriots landed him this week in a trade for a next-to-nothing conditional something round pick. Now, the Patriots have a way of taking these guys that have mixed abilities and finding a way to use them. These outcasts who haven't performed or weren't stars somewhere else or weren't starters, and they get the most out of them. Or if there's nothing to get, they let the league know that and they release them. This is pretty much a last stop for Barkevious Mingo, and he's young in his career. He coming out of LSU. Everybody thought he had, high hopes. I wasn't big on him coming out of LSU.